look at the impacts of climate change, the Mediterranean, Israel is a hotspot. Temperatures will probably rise at a higher level than the global mean temperature, and as a semi-desert country, we're going to have a grave impact here as global warming increases. But on the other hand, very little is done. You've mentioned the new targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Those targets are still way behind even the current targets by most developed countries. We are talking still about reduction and not about reaching a carbon neutral economy of zero emissions. And we must get there, because this is what we can learn from the latest IPCC report, is that if the world doesn't achieve the net zero, we're going to face very harsh consequences. And the plus side is, or the upside is, that the time to act is now, and we still have the opportunity and the ability to make a difference. Just Israel needs to step away from its mindset of being behind and looking for sort of ways to mitigate its targets, but actually start leading the pack and lead globally with innovation and technology. And we have the capacity to do that. We just need a different mindset.
Exactly. Along those lines, you're saying we have the capacity. Israel's a small country, geographically and population-wise here, technologically advanced, with a fair-sized economy and money to use in this realm. So what are the main obstacles preventing Israel from being more at the upper end of this list, at the forefront of these efforts here? Is it the power of the oil and gas conglomerates in the government, or is it simply the inability so far to invest properly in it? What's holding up Israel?
Well, truth needs to be told that Israel does face challenges that are unique. You've mentioned population, but if you look at population growth, Israel's growth is much higher than most of the developed world. And when you look at other issues like us being an energy island or an infrastructure island because of the tension in our region, it creates different challenges for Israel. But I think the biggest challenge and the biggest hurdle right now is almost psychological. It's waking up to the idea that this is not, the fact that it's called global warming doesn't make it a global crisis that does not impact Israel. But on the other, but actually the opposite is true, that we are feeling the impacts here and now, and that the government has a duty towards the citizens to act both to mitigate the impact, both to reduce greenhouse gases, which, by the way, also has added benefits because it means lower air pollution, better health, less traffic. So there are a lot of co-benefits. And on the other side, it needs to prepare to the impacts that are yet to come. When we talk about extreme weather events like droughts on the one hand, but also flooding on the other, we have to be prepared. And right now, it's very low on Israel's priority scale, and we need to push it up because we need to understand it's a matter not just of the environment and not just of money, but it's actually human life and Israel's security and strategic interests.